You know exactly what you need to do. You've known for 2 weeks. You're watching this instead. Here's the first thing nobody tells you. Procrastination and laziness are completely different things. A lazy person doesn't feel guilty. They don't lie awake at night thinking about the thing they didn't do. They genuinely don't care. You care. That's actually the whole problem. Procrastination isn't about not wanting to do the work. It's about how the work makes you feel. And nobody ever taught you how to deal with that. Here's what actually happens when you procrastinate. Your brain encounters a task. That task triggers a feeling. Anxiety, uncertainty, boredom, self-doubt, fear of failure. And before you've even consciously decided anything, your brain picks escape. Not because you're weak, because that's literally what brains do. Researcher Timothy Feichel spent decades studying procrastination and came to one conclusion. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It's an emotion management problem. The calendar doesn't help because the calendar was never the issue. The issue is that the task feels threatening, and your brain is very, very good at finding relief. The email takes 2 minutes. The anxiety about the email takes 3 days. That's not laziness. That's your emotional protection system working overtime. Quick question. $10 right now or $100 in 1 year? Most people emotionally choose the $10, even though the math is obviously wrong. Psychologists call this temporal discounting. The further away a reward is, the less real it feels to your brain. Which means, Netflix is real right now. Your future success is a vague concept that might happen to someone eventually. Your brain picks real every time. Researcher Hal Hershfield found something even more uncomfortable. Brain scans show that when people think about their future selves, they activate the same brain regions as when thinking about a stranger. Your future self is neurologically not fully you, which means right now your brain is genuinely thinking, not my problem. Let future me deal with it. Future you is basically an unpaid intern that current you keeps dumping work onto. This is the procrastination loop. And the worst part about it, every time you go around it, the task gets heavier. Day 1, the email is just an email. Day 5, the email is a conversation you've been avoiding for 5 days. Day 11, the email is a personal statement about your character and reliability. The avoidance doesn't protect you from the discomfort. It compounds it. And here's what really nobody tells you. Every time you tell yourself you're useless, pathetic, and hopeless for not doing the thing, you make it harder to do the thing. Research by Fuskia Siroa consistently shows that self-criticism increases procrastination. Because shame is an emotion, and your brain avoids emotions. The voice calling you useless is often the same voice keeping the whole cycle running. A lot of procrastinators aren't avoiding work because they don't care. They're avoiding it because they care too much. Perfectionism and procrastination are basically the same thing wearing different outfits. The perfectionist mindset says, which sounds like high standards. What it actually is a very sophisticated way of never being at risk of failure. If you never fully try, you never fully fail. Procrastination is often a self-esteem protection strategy. The unfinished project can always be good someday. The finished imperfect one is already judged. Leonardo da Vinci was one of history's greatest chronic procrastinators. He delayed projects for years, left many unfinished entirely. The guy who painted the Mona Lisa couldn't meet a deadline, which means your unfinished Google Doc is basically in good company. Here's why nothing worked. Every solution you tried attacked the wrong problem. Just do it works if motivation is the problem. Procrastination is an emotional avoidance problem. Telling someone to just do it is like telling an anxious person to just relax. Technically correct. Practically useless. To-do lists fail for the same reason. You don't procrastinate because you forgot what needed doing. You know exactly what needs doing. Adding more items to the list adds more emotional weight to avoid. And then there's the most elite form of procrastination ever invented. Productivity procrastination. Spending 3 hours organizing your Notion system to avoid 30 minutes of actual work. Spending 4 hours watching videos about how to stop procrastinating. You've never done that. Neither have I. The productivity industry loves selling you the idea that the right system will fix everything. It won't. Because systems don't manage emotions. Here's the reframe that changes everything. The opposite of procrastination is not discipline. It's emotional safety. When a task feels emotionally safe, when failure doesn't feel catastrophic, when imperfect feels acceptable, when the discomfort feels manageable, starting becomes almost automatic. Tip 1. Stop asking why you're lazy. Start asking what emotion you're avoiding. Sit with that for 10 seconds. Fear, uncertainty, embarrassment, boredom. Naming the emotion reduces its power immediately. Research shows that labeling feelings decreases their intensity in the brain, which means awareness alone starts breaking the loop. Tip 2. Stop beating yourself up for procrastinating. I know that sounds backwards, but research consistently shows self-compassion reduces procrastination more effectively than self-criticism. Because shame is an emotion, and your brain avoids emotions. Treating yourself like a friend who made a mistake gets you back to work faster than treating yourself like a failure. Every time. Tip 3. Replace vague plans with specific triggers. Researcher Peter Gallwitzer found that one simple formula dramatically increases follow-through. Not, I'll work on the project today, but when my coffee finishes brewing, I open the document. Not, I'll go to the gym this week, but if it's 7 a.m. and I'm dressed, I leave immediately. Specific triggers bypass the emotional negotiation your brain tries to start. There's nothing to decide. The decision was already made. Tip 4. Make starting embarrassingly easy. The perfectionist inside you will hate this. Good. Starting with low standards removes the emotional threat. And once you're moving, the brain updates its reward prediction. Suddenly, the task feels more possible. That's not motivation arriving. That's momentum. Tip 5. Close the gap between current you and future you. Hal Hershfield's research suggests that increasing your connection with your future self improves decision-making immediately. Write a letter to your future self. Visualize specifically what happens if you keep avoiding. Make the future feel real and personal instead of vague and theoretical. Future you is not a stranger. Future you is you, just with less time and more consequences. Tip 6. Remove the escape before you need willpower. Willpower is weakest exactly when the emotional discomfort is highest, which is exactly when you most need it. So don't rely on it. Phone in another room, apps deleted, website blocker on before you start. Make escape require effort, because your brain hates effort. Use that against it. Here's what nobody teaches you about procrastination. You are not fighting laziness. You are not fighting bad habits. You are never going to just discipline your way through all of that. The people who seem to have it figured out, they didn't find more willpower. They stopped making it an emotional battle. Name the emotion, lower the standard, use a trigger, be less cruel to yourself about it. That's the actual system, not the one the productivity industry sells. The one that works. That's the thing nobody teaches you. Now close this video and go do the thing. You know which one. Subscribe if this helped. I'd say the next video will be out soon, but I don't want to make any promises I might procrastinate on.